Hello, bonsai audience. Today is February the 20th. I would like to repot this flowering quince, and here is the tag. It comes with double thick pink stone quince, and it's thornless. You can see the beautiful flowers almost look like a camellia flower, but the leaves are much smaller. And this, you can see this particular tree has already leafed out a little bit, which shows it's, for this particular plant, it's a little bit late for repotting. But we are still in a good window for repotting season. So I'm going to go ahead and repot it. So this shows there is really no specific time for all plants for repotting, except that they should be in early winter, early spring, late winter, and it depends on when the plant, the buds of the plants start to swell. And when you observe the buds of the plant swelling, it indicates it's a good time to repot. And for some plants, it's going to be earlier. Sometime for some plants, it's going to be later. Although now it's just late February, it should be in a correct time frame. But for this particular plant, it's a slightly late. And you can see also some of the flowers, it's starting to blossom, and these are flower buds. So this quince, it's interesting. A lot of the plants, they flowers at the very tip of the tree, and this is flower in relatively old branches. So it's very interesting. It has this kind of contorted growth habit. You can see no one has pruned it for bonsai yet, but it has already have some very interesting movement. So I think it's, and quince is regularly used for bonsai too, so it should be very interesting plant for turning into bonsai. And again, we have these lower branches, which may be a branch, or it could be a different plant. So I'm going to figure that out, whether these are a branch or they could be separate into different plants by digging down into the soil and delineate all these relationship between these different trunk lines. And so I'm just going to turn on the time lapse and start at it. Okay, I have repotted this flowering quince, and you can see simply by repotting it, it already looks much like a bonsai. And I basically also figure out that all the different trunks that come out from the soil, they are one plant, and one of them, which is this one, uh, is a branch that come out directly from the trunk. The other is actually a branch that come out of the root. The root hit the uh, edge of the pot and grow up and become a branch. That one I've already removed. And so I would like to talk about what I learned from repotting this tree about the life history, the health of the tree. So by teasing out all the old soils, I found out that this is probably grown from a cutting and used to stay in very small pots for the root to generate. And then when the roots become pot bound, it's progressively move into larger pots. And the reason why I know that is when I tease the roots, I keep hitting this hard area, which is in the shape of a pot. And then when I tease harder into the soil, then I would find another harder area, which is in the shape of a smaller pot. So that's how I know it was grown in small pots, and then when the plant become pot bound, just directly move into a larger pot. And this was how this plant was grown. Of course, no root work has been done during this process, so it was a mess. You see all these roots circling around the plant, and I've done some root work, cutting out a lot of the downward growing big branches, and hopefully it's going to start developing a radial root base. And the root system was not particularly healthy, because I think the last time this plant was up potted, it was potted into too big of a pot, and as a result, the roots dry out very slowly. And when the soils are being continuously wet, the root tend to not grow very well. So this plant, when I dug it out of the original pot, was not pot bound at all. And actually there were not much roots in the bigger pot. Most of the roots are still within the shape of the smaller pot. So I know that the plant probably hasn't been up potted too long ago, and maybe I would estimate maybe a year ago it was up potted. But nevertheless, the plant is still pretty healthy. But after I put it into this pot, you can see I actually put a lot of pumice in there and mix with some of the original soil this plant was came with, and I think it would drastically improve the health of the plant, because the large amount of pumice is going to allow the plant to dry out much faster, and the wet dry cycle introduce more air, and roots are going to grow much happier in such a soil environment that's rich in air. And also this bucket, when the roots grow out of the bucket, it's going to dry out. The tip of the roots is going to dry out and effectively being pruned by air. And when that happens, the inner roots grow denser and denser, and it becomes a much stronger and much healthier root system. So I think this is going to start to make the plant very, very healthy. And I almost haven't done any pruning on the top yet. There are two reasons. One is I would like to see the full blossom of this tree. The second reason is I would like to save all these new branches, new leaves to regenerate the root. And I think in early summer, when the plant is fully established, root regenerated, and the leaves harden off, and maybe the blossom has finished, I'm going to do the first pruning of this tree and start sorting out the structure in the upper canopy. And I think this could be a good choice for the front of the tree. For any bonsai or any tree in the wild, there normally exists a front or the best viewing side of a tree. Doesn't matter whether it's a bonsai that's made by human or a tree that's made by nature, it normally exists such a front. So I still need to think about what would be a better front, and then based on that, I'm going to further prune and style this tree. Right now, actually, there are multiple angles that would look good on this tree. And you can see some flower that's already forming. And there are plenty of flower buds in this area. So I expect a very beautiful blossom. I think when it fully blossoms, I'm going to make a short video and show everybody the beautiful blossom. Currently, it's still a bush. The branch structure is also still very chaotic. So it would still take some pruning to actually make it into a tree-like structure. So I think this is currently a bush. Okay, I'm going to rotate this around a couple more times and think about which could be a front. I think this could be a front. This could also be a front. This could be a front. And this could also be front of the tree. Okay, so I think this is the video, and I repotted this flowering quince, and I hope that the tree is going to blossom and grow rapidly. Later this year, I'm going to sort out the branch structure and attempt to make it into a tree-like pre-bonsai. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Take care and bye.